GM, 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 GM. GM, GM, GM. Oh boy. Today we have a very exciting brew. It's going to be, yeah, full house today. Full house today. The only reason why I didn't tag everyone is because Santi and Dom are doing a few last minute call. They are just closing. So, but they will be back here with us soon enough because today, yeah, we are always busy, Shadex. But they'll be here very, very soon. And we have a very, very, very important topic for today. Yeah, Quacks, I feel I can manage some entertainment for a few minutes. Maybe I'll sing, maybe I'll share lore. It's going to be fun, either way. So, yeah, guys, today we have a very. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Today we have a very, very, very important brew. It's something. No way, stick. It's something we have been looking forward for a while. Everyone here is super excited, I feel, just as I am. And we are finally going to disclose the mechanics around fleet rentals. It's huge. It's supposed to be one of the biggest revolutions in our project history. It will surely shake the foundations of Galia Expanse. We have, I mean, even though I believe to be seasoned player of Sage and everything, even I can't actually realize
GM?
how far this will impact. Santiago, Dominic Vane, Jam Boys, how you guys doing?
Doing well, and you?
Fantastic.
Great, bro. Glad to have you guys here.
Yeah, glad to be here, Jose Maria. Glad to be here. It's a busy week. Busy week. There's a lot going on. There's a
Lot going
lot
on,
going
for
on.
sure.
Yeah. Hello to everyone in the chat. I see Neo Armstrong, Stick, Mandalorian, NDR, Hammerhead, Bal Phoenix, Fun Cracker Katir, Shadex, Quex. Quex said, hello, Santi and Dominic. No hellos for you, Jose, unless he said it earlier.
Yeah, bro, he is way ahead of you, bro. He said it
He's
earlier.
ahead.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Emperor, Mr. Cain. Mr. Cain joining the stage. Michael Cain, how are you doing, friend?
Hello, hello. Good to be here. Happy to be here. Excited.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you
Welcome,
for
sir.
joining us.
Guys, we need to
Thank you
tag
for joining
everyone.
us.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, they're asking if you have any jokes, Cain.
A
That's a
joke.
risky question. That's a
Yeah.
risky question. Steady.
No,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. You're asking the wrong
Yeah.
person, Alex.
I'm asking the wrong guy. I'm asking the wrong
Yeah,
guy.
exactly.
Yeah, no jokes. Genfall. This is going to be uploaded, yes, to Star Atlas TV. But yeah, don't post the announcement. Just so everybody knows, we're going to be talking about fleet rentals, of course, today. And we're going to be sharing some images of how it's looking like right now. These are some early sneak peeks on the UI for fleet rentals. But basically what we want to do is clear some questions and just try to make to have everyone on the same page when it comes to the rentals and how things are going to work. So yeah, we're going to be talking with Michael Cain, who is the person from our team who has been handling the fleet rentals development on our side. This has been done in collaboration with the third party. I don't know if we ever shared who the third party is, so I will keep it shush. But yeah, we're working with them, and it's been a long time effort. So it's coming to fruition March 5. March 5. So, Jose, are you excited for it?
Bro, I'm ready to rent the first Titan ship in Galia Expanse. I'm going to bring justice in the Penguin's name throughout Galia. I'm more than ready.
How much money would you be spending to rent that fleet? Do you
I
think?
don't know, man. Probably more than $100 a day, I guess.
I would, yeah, probably.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, I'm going to be renting out the fee, the rainbow fee, or fi. I don't know what's the right pronunciation for it,
Yeah, the
but
fly.
I'm going to be making offers virtual, steady, steady. But yeah, I think we can start with some noteworthy news before we get on the main topic. But one thing that we've been sharing a lot on X and where we will love the community support is the campaign Pivot to Real Products on Solana. As everybody knows, there has been a lot of drama going on in Solana after my dear president, the Argentinian president, did some mess with the Libra coin. And there's a narrative right now going on that Solana is only for memes and stuff like that. So we from Star Atlas want to lead the narrative on pivot to real products, pivot to teams that are already building cool stuff. So if you want, Dom just posted the link in the chat. If you want to go and support, give it a retweet, give it a quote tweet, a comment. It's much appreciated. So we tell everyone that there's real stuff being built on the chain in Solana. So yeah, pivot to real products it is. And yeah, Neo, always Argentina. It's always Argentina. I don't know how we end up in this messed up situation, but it is what it is. As a Brazilian, I have to agree, says Larry. Yes, yes. I feel you guys, I feel you. But yeah. Then the other noteworthy news is the Mystery Week. We have almost $600,000 in prices. So
Bro, the Mystery Week is crazy. The Mystery Week's actually
Yeah.
crazy. And I just want to remind everyone that the golden tickets, once the Mystery Week is over, they will not be used for anything. They lose all utility. Use your golden tickets unless you want like one or two in your wallet as a souvenir or something. But use all your tickets. Use them all. These tickets are going to be absolutely useless after this. So use them all. Mystery Week is actually crazy too. Tier 4 land hab. We have 3 tier 3 land habs, unreleased ships, almost 600,000 in loot. It's pretty crazy actually. So yeah. We hope to see you guys there on Friday. It'll be really fun.
Yeah,
yeah,
if you guys don't want to use them, you can send them my way. I'll surely put them to good use.
you're already used enough, Jose. Don't
Nah,
be
this is
greedy.
my week. This is my week. I need a commander, bro.
Don't be greedy, Jose Maria.
I need a commander or T4 state.
Yeah.
Those CSS.
And we'll have the Marvel race before, as always. We'll have the Marvel race.
Of
The
course. Come
mystery
on.
Marvels.
Of course, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Um, then another thing that is happening this week is the council office hours on Friday, if I am not mistaken. That is happening.
Yes. That's
Uh,
Friday at 7 a.m. Pacific time. That's 10 a.m. Eastern time, and I don't know what that is. UTC off the top of my head. Let me look.
yeah, I just posted the event in the chat, so you guys can mark us interested. If you're building anything that relates to the DAO, if you want help on any policy improvement proposals for whatever you're building, that's the place to be. And Funcracker is going to be there, and some other council members are going to be there. So make sure to join. And then also related to the council is that we are close to having the first ecosystem pip up for voting. So you will get that Polish voting power to use if you want to support the Gamescom meetup. So as probably everybody knows, if you don't know yet, now you know. The German Stratus Committee has been organizing a meetup in Cologne for the Gamescom event, and they have been working really hard for a couple months. So it's finally time where that pip made it to the voting phase, and it will be up on the govern page for you to vote with your Polish voting power if you want to support this initiative. And it's a cool one. So definitely recommend reading that out and voting because it's only 1 week voting window. I think it's going to start this week. So keep an eye on it. The council will also post the announcements when that is up. But it's good to see the ecosystem moving. And if you're going to Gamescom, you have the chance to hang out with the Saratas community. Or even if you're not going to Gamescom and you just want to go to Germany to hang out with the Saratas community, there's going to be a meetup in Cologne. So pretty cool. Pretty cool to see. Things are moving. So I'm excited for that. And then last but not least, we have two local events this week. One is the Brazilian Brew. Jose, I don't know if you will be attending, but
Sure.
if you're in the Brazilian Stratos community, we have Café com Atlas this week, where you can go hang out with the Brazilian, the Portuguese-speaking community. That's going to be hosted by Neo Armstrong. Shout out to Neo Armstrong, man. Shout out to Neo Armstrong. Legend. Absolute legend. So you can join the Brazilians hanging out this week. And there's also a Philippines game night. So if you're in the Philippines community and you want to have fun and win some prizes, you can participate in the Atlas Pinas game night for the Philippines community. So those are the two local events this week. So I think that covers all the noteworthy news. I don't know if I missed anything, any highlights. Just Dom, before we move to the main topic.
I don't think you missed anything. I just want to cover Agent Solace's question real quick. He was asking if the Busan Pulse was going to be sold by us, and no, it is not right now. I mean, in the future it will be, but not right now. This is just simply for the Mystery Week. We're listing it on the marketplace because this is a prize for the Mystery Week. We have to put it on the marketplace. But no, we are not selling it right now. Sorry. All right.
Cool. Yeah. GM Nebulous, I see you in the chat. Just say your biggest
Nebulous,
supporter.
The
Your
legend
biggest supporter is here.
helping me get the capital ship last week. Praying to Iris.
He prayed to Ares for you. For sure.
Legend.
So yeah, I think we can get started. What we're going to do, guys, is we're going to be going through some of the screenshots we have from Fleet Rentals, and hopefully we'll be clearing some of the user journey and questions that come up from your guys' end. So feel free to ask any questions at any time. We have Michael Cain on stage here with us. He has been working hard for this to happen, so he should be able to answer most of the questions that come.
Yeah, shout out to Michael Cain. He's been dedicated to this for a while now.
Shout out to Michael Cain, man. Great job,
Yeah.
Michael Cain. Appreciate
Well,
everything.
shout out to me, yes, but shout out to more importantly Star Atlas and the founders for making this all possible in the first place. This is a special project of Star Atlas for a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons. For me and a lot of people on the internal engineering side, it really is this blockchain element, this fully decentralized game, this beautiful quote unquote metaverse that has been tainted by so many, but we are really trying to stay true to that and do what we set out to do. And this lending feature specifically really touches on that. We've been working on this for a long time in one way or another. This goes back 2 years. We're even trying to work with Solana to help build this out for us for one reason or another. And nothing really ever came to fruition. We had multiple third-party teams trying to figure it out, trying to build it. And, usually I'm pretty good at striking deals, but this one has been particularly difficult just because of the state of the blockchain ecosystem and Solana itself and the wallet providers not being on board. But we finally, our great and powerful CEO finally was able to strike a deal, which sparked the execution of this and the implementation and the pipeline, the development, and it's been a long time in the works. I'd say almost all of last year, but our team and the external team have been working 7 days a week tirelessly to release this on March 5th. And to say this is a special feature for Star Atlas would be an understatement. This touches everything and in ways that we really don't even know yet. Unlocking liquidity, improving the game experience for new players, existing players. It's just really, really amazing, and actually reaches far beyond Star Atlas. If we really wanted to get theoretical and philosophical, but we won't do that.
It's fine. It's fine. We like to
Yeah,
get a
this
little bit into the theory crafting as well here, right, Jose?
absolutely. We live for theory crafting here.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a complex program, right, Cain? It's a lending program that it's for fleets inside of all these smart contracts that interact with Sage. So it's a super complex thing to do, and that's why it took this long. But we're finally there. And just as a disclaimer, of course, this is going to be launched as an MVP, as a first version that we make available for everyone. So we are looking for feedback. We are looking for improvements. Don't expect everything to be working perfectly. You know how this goes. It's an early product. We're releasing it as an MVP, and things are going to be added as we go. So I think with that said, we can get on some of the screenshots. Don, what do you think if we start with the My Fleet inventory screenshot?
Let's do it. Let's do it. You guys see it? Sometimes there's issues.
Yep.
I see it.
Can everyone in the audience see it? Can you guys see it? Just want to double check, make sure. Okay, awesome. I see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the first screenshot that we're showing. As you know, this is going to be there in the fleet rentals program, and you can see 3 tabs up there. You can see my fleet inventory, fleets available to borrow, and rental history. We'll go through them today, but first we get on the my fleet inventory. On the my fleet inventory, that's basically all the fleets that you have in Sage. So the fleets that you have formed in Sage. Michael Cain, please correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm just basing this off from what I know. But what you see here is all the fleets that you have in Sage. And you can see 2 different states here of fleets. One, you have the 10-minute rental fleet, which is your fleet that is docked at the Mod Central Space Station, basically. And that's like a normal fleet. You got into Sage, you imported that fleet, and it's there, sitting docked in the Mod Central Space Station. And what you can do, how you create a rental, it's literally you come to this tab on play.stratos.com, click on Create Rental, and it will ask you to set the price. We'll look at that image later, but that's how you go from having a fleet to renting it out, basically. It will read what you have in Sage, you click on Create Rental, and it will ask you for a price per day that you want to put for it. And then it will go up for rent. And then below, we see the 10-min rental 2, and that's a ship that has been loaned to someone. And it can, at the bottom, you can see how much you rented that for. It says $40 until July 10 at 9:33 p.m. And to whom? That's in the UI. We haven't decided on what we will be showing exactly, if it's going to be dollars or Atlas. All the rent will happen in Atlas, but we don't know if we're going to show the equivalent or the Atlas price, basically, the Atlas amount. So it's daily. There are questions already there, Cain, that I will be asking you right now. There's a question from Bodhi. He's asking, what's the longest possible rental, if we can do a month or more?
This is going to come down to what we decide in terms of the MVP, but I'll answer this in a little bit more of an open way. Theoretically, it could be 24 years, for example, but obviously we're not going to do that. So I think to start, it'll probably be something like 24 days, or maximum.
Days?
Yeah, 24 days, I would say, would be a good place, but we have constraints on the Sage side that limit 24 days, that limit a rental to 3 months maximum. So if anything really bad were to happen, if someone were to lose their private keys and while they were renting a fleet, that fleet would be out of the owner's possession for a maximum 3 months. After that 3 months, the use of that fleet would transfer automatically back to the owner. So we currently have some things in place. We do want to run this by our econ team, our kind of user testing team. There's a lot of edge cases with the system, and we want to take it very slowly and carefully at the beginning.
Yeah, and a lot will vary, I guess, when we ship this out and we start hearing feedback from the community. Like we don't know what's the interest out there for the market either on how long people want to rent fleet for, or
Exactly.
there are a lot of unknowns that we will know and we will iterate on when we go live. And then there are other questions like, is the renter paying upfront or pays per day? And I think, Cain, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the renter pays upfront, and then the funds go to an escrow, which deposits to the fleet owner every minute. Was it?
Yeah. So super interesting, cool part of this system that allows for a lot of flexibility is, yes, the renter, let's say, rents for a week, and that week totals, I don't know, 100 Atlas or something. That 100 Atlas would be transferred upon accepting the rental to an escrow. That escrow is not in ownership of the lender. Every day, a pro rata share from that escrow will be transferred to the lender. So we count, in this example, we can count a day as a tick. So every tick, the pro rata share of the Atlas in that escrow will go to the lender. So they're paying you're paying as you go, but you do put a deposit down for the full term.
Exactly. Yeah. And then if you cancel the deposit, if you cancel the rent, do you get what you didn't use back from the escrow? I think that's also a question that people will have.
Are we talking about canceling?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you as the renter can cancel a rental at any time during the rental while it's active.
And you get back what you didn't use.
You will get back what you didn't use. So for example, if you rent for 7 days and on the third day you wanted to cancel the rental halfway through the day, you would be paying for 3 full days, but you would get back the remaining 4 days.
Yep. Makes sense. And yeah, cancellation is automatic at the end of term. Yes. That's on the program, right, Cain?
It is, yes. It's part of this amazing automated system that we're releasing alongside rentals with this wonderful third-party team that I'm sure most of you know, that I also want to highlight as really core to the ethos of Star Atlas. And this is a good example of what we're all about. We want to empower the community to build this product with us. And it's all nice to say that and to shout out words like composability and yada yada, but when it really comes down to it, it's very, very difficult. And this feature is proof of that. It took 2 years to even get someone to consider building it, and then once they did, it took 8+ months with some extensive work to get it to a release candidate. So it's not easy. So if you do build with Star Atlas today, everything's open. You can call these instructions and these programs, but it's going to take everything you have. It's going to be hard work, but it is rewarding, as we will see, because this stuff is just so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really cool to see that an external team picked up on the open contracts that we have for building, and it's coming to fruition. It's very cool to see. And the whole ecosystem is evolving thanks to this as well. Like now we have rentals, we have automation that the community is building, we have huge and great data pages as well. It's so crazy to see how far we come. But
This
yeah.
is all part of this build program, this initiative, right? It's one thing if you just expose an SDK and an API and you've got documentation, but when you're trying to CPI into a first of its kind blockchain program or blockchain game that's fully on chain, it comes with a lot of pain and bug fixing and edge case handling and just internal knowledge. So I encourage anyone who does want to build something on Solana blockchain with Star Atlas, get into the build program, get into the SAC server, and you will get access to developers, to internal information. We will help you build. We do want to encourage this stuff. So please do that.
Reach out. If you're building anything cool, reach out. We'll get the channel set up, and we will try to support you in anything you're building. And join the SAC server. But yeah, I invited on stage Anthony here. Anthony has been one of the main guys working on this program. So I saw you, Anthony, replying to questions in the chat. So I think it's better for the stream just to reply to them here as well. But welcome to the stage, my friend. Happy to have you on stage.
Thank you.
Yeah. How are you doing? First of all, are you excited?
Oh man, busy. This has been an idea for a long time, actually. Like Cain kind of hinted towards it. Not nearly as long as Star Atlas is thinking about it, but it was kind of like a brain fever idea while working on Sly Assistant, and I was like, man, fleet rentals. How can we do this, right? And so I actually thought about implementing it on Sly Assistant itself, which has its pros and cons, right? And ended up stumbling upon a project about 2 years ago that I thought was very cool, called Clockwork, and it's the foundation of building like automation on Solana itself. And so with the help of Groove, I sat down and started whipping together the MVP of the MVP, what we're about to deploy using Clockwork. And so that kind of got us to where we are today. So
Nice. Very cool stuff. Love it. I love it. And I saw you replying to some questions. So there was a question suggestion from Larry on, should we have a restocking fee for cancellations? So to protect providers against the bad actors. And I think you said there is a fee if you cancel.
Well, not a direct fee. So the way that the system's currently built, when you do that initial deposit as a borrower, that's when we collect the fee for using the service, right? And that fee, once collected, is not refunded in those examples where like the borrower cancels midway through. Now, this is where it gets a little complex, right? And maybe a diagram could be helpful because you got the lender, you got the borrower. It's really designed to make sure that there's not a winner, and a loser. Like there's just a win-win situation, right? And so if a borrower cancels, they don't get that fee back, right? So that's a cost of canceling. However, if they have days left on that contract, they will get those days left, right? And so Cain gave an example of 3 days played, and then they get 4 days returned, and then the fee is not returned in that. So it's not directly labeled as a restocking fee, but it's a fee taken from the initial deposit and not returned if it's canceled or closed, for example.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I don't know if there are any other questions in the chat that Dom, Jose, you guys see. If
Yeah,
not, we can move to the next. Mhm.
yeah, this is a question from Ray. Can the ships be left in play in space if that's where the renters cancels or the times runs out? Yeah, the ship will be on the position where the contract ended, right?
Yes.
Mm. Yeah.
And that's where, I mean, the rental system is leveraging Sage, and Sage has these built-in mechanics, like mechanisms for rental, right? It will protect crew. So, like if you added crew to your fleets and you were transporting crew, for example, and that fleet ended, you're not going to give that crew over with that fleet. But any cargo in the location, essentially at the time that ends, is going to be where it ends, right? And uh, that's sort of a limitation of the system. But also, I think it's kind of important because if you're borrowing, you should take that into consideration, right? You know when you're going to end your contract, or the contract's going to end for you, because you're in control of that. And so make sure that you have it in a position or a place that you're okay with, for when that cancels. If you do have a full cargo bay of stuff that you're trying to transport and it does cancel on you, uh, that essentially follows the fleet. So if you can rent it back, you get all that cargo back, or the owner, and then he gets ownership back of that fleet once it is completed, right? And so it can add some dynamic gameplay loops, even where people are watching these rentals and seeing, oh, this guy's about to drop out mid warp with a full cargo bay, right? Should I try and snipe that, right? Which I think is interesting from a gameplay standpoint. But hope that answers.
Hmm. Yeah, I see a lot of comments on it, like that it can be annoying for people if a fleet is left out in the middle of space after renting it, after the rental ended. So some people are asking if there's a way to charge a fee if they don't return it at the same place or something like that. I guess that will.
So this is, I can kind of speak to this because this is kind of where the theory crafting comes into play. When you look at the real world and renting, a van or a car or renting anything for that matter, there's always some type of agreement in place prior or a penalty in place prior. If you don't return the car to this location, there's a extra fee. Or if you return it, if there's any chance of you returning it in a poor condition or you don't take insurance, there's always these insurance or safety checks in place. So for us, exposing this on the UI would make a lot of sense, right? So if it is the case that we indefinitely allow in Sage renters or lenders to offer fleets for rent or renters to rent fleets at any sector or location in Sage, then it would make sense as a lender to put a fee or a failsafe on top for the respawn fee, for example, right? As a default baseline for how much you're going to charge. Now, granted, you can calculate that into the UI to add that onto like how much you're charging easily. We could expose that in the UI so people can be sure. We could even eventually, at post MVP releases, relegate accepting of a rental or even putting a fleet on the market to rent, probably accepting only at CSS or space stations, for example, or CSSs for that matter. So this system is built in a way that leverages player profile and leverages an external lending program. So we can kind of ingest and index the data at the MVP release and then adjust accordingly in terms of the specifics and the terms and the constraints. So very, very high hopes and cool stuff. It won't be perfect upon release. Our main focus for release is to keep it safe and to keep it simple.
Simple.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. There is another question that says, can you extend a rental that is already in process?
Currently, with the MVP, no.
Okay. Okay, cool. Dom,
Kind of boils back to we want it safe, we want it to be simple, right? It's designed in such a way that I don't think it would be that much of a lift to include, but if we keep adding features, you guys will never get it, right? And so it's kind of the feature creep to release kind of feature set. So I think what I'm envisioning is once this goes live and people break it, we'll fix it. And then once it's running good, we'll be taking all the feedback, right? Cain mentioned it before too, seeing how people use it, how people are wanting to use it, and obviously growing it with Sage and Star Atlas, right? To make it so that it's quite frankly just amazing, just a core feature, hopefully.
Yeah.
Anthony, did you want to explain the lender and how canceling a contract or canceling works?
Yeah. So on the lender side, there's a couple of states, right? Like you could have a contract or fleet that's currently not rented. And if you look on Dominic's screen, an example of that is that first one where after you create it. So on that first one, once you create it, it's going to become a rental contract on this platform. That doesn't mean someone's renting it, right? So now it's on the marketplace. And so if you decided that you need that fleet, you want to use that fleet, or maybe you need to do something with that fleet, you can close, right, at any time in that state. And it'll take it from the marketplace. People aren't going to be able to rent it. Pretty quick and easy. Where it gets interesting is when you have someone renting it, right? So the second that someone rents it, you can still flag it like, hey, I'm going to close it, but the system waits for that renter to be done, right? It doesn't eject the renter out while it's currently renting. You guys agreed to a contract, and that unless the borrower cancels early, you're going to fulfill that contract. Now, the main purpose of it is to prevent people from, because the system's quite automated and it's supposed to be automated, it prevents someone from sniping that rental from underneath of you before, because you wanted to remove it from the marketplace, for example.
Yeah. So to reiterate, a lender cannot cancel a rental early, but a lender can flag a rental foreclosure so that when the current rental is expired or canceled by the borrower, right, it'll just come off the market.
Correct.
And there's a question from Bodhi. He's asking if the cancellation from a lender is a front end limit, or if it's a blockchain limit. Like, can't that be bypassed?
It's enforced in the blockchain, the lender cancellation. And so I would say it's integral to the system at hand. Was there more to that question, or just curious on the security aspect of it?
Cool. Dom, should we move to the next screenshot just so people can see also?
Absolutely. I'm bringing it up.
I see a question from Agent Solace. How many fleets can be rented at once? I don't think there's an upper limit here, right, Anthony and Michael King?
Can you guys see this one?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm actually not sure. I'd love to find out
Sorry, what was the question?
how
If
many
there's
rentals could be.
yeah, how many fleets you can rent add-ons? Is there a limit?
Not any limit that anyone will hit. No.
Depends how much
How
Atlas
much
you have,
money
I
you
guess.
have? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Cool. And so here on the screen, maybe Anthony, you can walk us through what it is here. The fleets available to borrow.
Yeah, so this side of the UI, right, is going to show you, and it's going to be where you find a fleet that you want to rent, right? And so you go to this page, you can type in, we're hoping to get it to the point where you can search like a specific ship type or composition of the ship. It's definitely based on location, right? We want you to be able to, if you're mud, you probably don't want to rent from Oni, right? Because you have to get it back to your mud location to do anything. And so it's definitely location based for filtering and trying to figure out, what kind of fleets are shown to you when you go to this page. But this is the page where you're going to like find a fleet if you need a fleet to rent.
Mm-hmm. Great. And you will see basically the name of the fleet, the location, the price per day, and then you can rent the fleet. And you can see the rent history as well.
I do
And
believe clicking the rent fleet, the modal shows like cargo space, ammo, current fleet stats, right, Cain?
we have that screenshot if you want to move to that
Okay.
one, Dom. So the summary of the Buffalo fleet.
Yeah, I got you. Be patient with me.
Steady.
Okay, there we go.
Boom.
You guys see it?
Yeah.
I can.
Yep.
It's a small, but we can see it. It's average, but we can see it. But yeah.
Too many people on this stage that can make a joke. Let's move on. Let's move on.
It's AR incoming in the chat.
Jesus.
But
So we click on the rent fleet button, right? And it's going to show you this modal, right? It's going to show you the current stats of that fleet, the composition of the fleet. And then this is where you select how long that you want to rent it for. And so we mentioned it earlier. Right now, we have numbers that we just like threw at the wall because we don't really obviously, we don't want someone to get trapped into a rental for 2 years. This is crypto, right? But we also want to protect both sides, right? We want to make sure that the lender doesn't, eject someone out early, right? And we don't want the borrower to rent out and cancel too quickly, or wherever it may be, right? And so this is going to be the detailed page where you're going to see okay, how much is it going to be per day, and then if it's going to work for what you want to use it for.
Mm-hmm.
The
So
minimum is 1, and it's based off of what the system itself supports: hourly, daily, weekly, and monthly. And so the minimum is one of those, right? So 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. And that's going to be for the MVP, just to make it simple, make it easy for people to understand. There's talks about making it more custom, but as of right now, we kind of wanted to go with simple so we could release it.
Yeah. One day. What would you guys prefer? I'm curious about what the community thinks. What should be the minimum? Should it be 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day? What do you guys think? Tell me in the chat. What's easier? 1 day.
Just don't
Yeah.
rent the 1 hour. I mean, to be fair, the borrower puts in the duration as well, right? So if the rental is set for hourly, then the renter can select anywhere from 1 hour. The borrower can select anywhere from 1 hour to 24 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The most common answer is 1 day, I think. Minimum payment 1 day, minimum time to cancel 1 hour. You have to use it 1 hour.
Man, this is how we should make all product decisions.
It's pretty cool, right? You get all the answers here. You get a
Yeah.
lot of answers. It's good. It's good. I love it.
So there's
Um,
so this is the user view journey flow where you're renting out a fleet, right? You can see kind of some specifics about the fleet you're about to rent, but to paint a picture, there could be many user journeys here, and different visualizations and aggregations of data, depending on what type of user you are. Are you an investor? Are you a new player? Are you an extreme player who automates everything? So as Anthony said, keeping it simple, at least for the start, makes a lot of sense because we anticipate the requests in terms of how you even find a fleet you want to rent to be very complex and lots of different ways in which people want to search for fleets and even create compositions of fleets to rent and borrow. So excited to see kind of what the feedback is on that. But I know like all this data is on chain, right? So you could create whatever interface you want to search for fleets to rent based on the activity you're doing, based on the yield generation, based on just griefing people and killing people, which is my personal favorite thing to do. So lots of different options here, which is what I love about this.
mhm. And another thing that people will probably request is the private lending. Like, so you posting an order that can only be filled by the wallets that you want,
Or your guild
um,
members, right?
or your guild members. I think that's a feature that the community will request.
I mean, yeah, there's many ways
That's
you use that, right?
definitely
Guild.
durable.
You have
So
like a team of people that you want to give it to or something like that. Yeah, I think private rents is
I know Bodhi asked
really
this a
cool.
couple times and got bumped a couple times, right? Everything, all this logic is on chain, right? And so, yes, someone could theoretically, if they got the IDL, could send a transaction to Solana directly to do something on behalf of the system. It's essentially what we're doing. However, the limitations, all these requirements, the stuff that we just talked about, safeguards, right? That's contract level. And so even if they did manually bypass the portal system or the portal UI, there is no way that they can bypass the Solana smart contract side.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And how possible is it, Anthony, to add a feature in the future for private rentals or selected wallets?
I think that's going to be pretty easy based on how it's designed, right? I would like to, I'd like to see this battle tested a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And once we get it battle tested, we start seeing this in action live. I think that's when features can definitely be released quickly, as we can see how people are using it, wanting to use it. I definitely do see like you whitelisting a rental specifically for a guild, and then you can put 0 for the rental cost, right?
Mm-hmm.
That way, only your guild members can rent it for $0, dollars or Atlas, right? For however long you set, right? And so private rentals is the same kind of concept, right? Where you want to do an over-the-counter deal, and you don't want to necessarily have someone snipe it from you while on the marketplace.
I do like this idea, although I would like to preface or intervene here and say that technically you don't need to add a whitelist or blacklist to rent to a specific person that you're intending to rent to. You could create a guild flow or UI flow, or we could even do it in the future, integrate it into the DAC system or one of our other domains into Sage, for example, where you're creating the contract and immediately renting to someone all in one kind of user flow, user journey. But what Anthony is explaining is a kind of a more native way to support private lending, or nothing's private, but more directed and whitelisted lending. Like you have to be in a certain faction to be able to rent. Yes, that could be
chain
done
enforced.
Right, exactly, chain enforced. But you could accomplish all this today by just chaining these transactions together and involving, like, everyone to agree upon executing. So yeah, pretty cool stuff.
You want to move on to the next image, Santi? Oh, Santi blew up. That's why. I think I have one more image. One sec. Let me bring it up. Where is it at? Can you guys see that? Did it bring up? Oh, it didn't bring up the new one. One sec. All right, there we go.
While you bring that up, Skykraken asked if their renter can disband a fleet. The answer is no. So the borrower, the person renting, cannot disembark the crew running the fleet, nor can they disband the fleet or self-destruct it. I think those are the things that they can't do, right? And that's enforced on the Sage level.
Yes, you cannot disband a fleet if you are the borrower, renter. And you cannot withdraw crew as well. So if you rent a fleet, and obviously there's crew in there, the minimum amount, you cannot withdraw the crew.
Yes, the lenders have to provide the minimum for that fleet to operate.
Okay, so to create a fleet to be rentable, you have to have the minimum amount of crew necessary to make it run, right? That's what you said, Anthony?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Just making sure everybody hears that. Okay, so I brought up a new screenshot. So this is when you're actually loaning a fleet. You guys want to talk about this, either Anthony or Cain?
Yeah, this is the contract creation or rental creation. This is you as a lender putting your fleet on the market to be available for renting. So the name labeling here was just some testing naming conventions we were using. You'll obviously see, and probably as a lender, depending on who your target market is, but you'll probably want to include resources, fuel, ammo in the rental. So you can see that here. We're exposing that here. Still a little bit of a work in progress. You can see the bars aren't updating as they should, but take that with a grain of salt. So here you're setting what the daily rental price is. And then it's 10 right now. So what that means is if someone wants to rent for 10 days, they will be paying 100 Atlas upon accepting this rental. So this is the view that a lender will see to put a fleet on the market available to rent by our borrower. The composition of the fleet, the cargo of the fleet, the location of the fleet, all that is exposed to the borrowers. So yeah, I mean, this could be really cool. You can get really creative with this from a lender's perspective and from a borrower's perspective in terms of, am I creating a fleet that is targeted towards the combat market or the freighting market, or the mining market or scanning market, right? All of that can go into how you build the composition of this fleet, before and after you put it on the market.
Cool. Santi, welcome back.
Hello. My internet went down for a second. Sorry. I am back.
I saw someone ask a question saying, so I need the crew to rent the fleet? No. So the fleet that you could rent will come with the minimum crew needed. Just want to make sure people hear that again.
Mm-hmm. So the crew thing gets a little complex. And just to be clear, we'll be releasing more Medium articles and more details to kind of explain, and Dom and others will create beautiful videos. Well, you'll just want to kind of watch them play, and there'll be tutorials. And I personally love Dom's videos because it allows me to see his beautiful face more than I do at work. So I particularly love that. But yeah, we'll definitely release more informational stuff closer to launch and then upon launch. But crew cannot be withdrawn from your fleet. So the base rental crew that you rent the fleet with, you cannot withdraw the crew from the fleet.
Nice. That was a common question out there for sure. People were scared of someone renting a fleet, then stealing the crew and giving it back without crew.
Yeah, not happening.
That is not
Now,
possible.
the other side of that is if you're the borrower and you add crew, you're transporting crew with that fleet, and it cancels or closes, you will get your your crew back, right? So it won't take the crew and give it to the owner of that fleet on that cancellation.
Anthony and Michael Cain, I see a question from Larry. He asks, I have a potentially bad scenario. What if I create a fleet, unload all crew, which is possible, and then put up the fleet for rental? Will it go out without crew, or will the UI block it?
Full crew, as in as much as it can handle, like the fleet can handle, and not just like the minimum for operation.
Yeah, minimum
I'm assuming.
operation. Yeah.
So we've been talking about crew a decent amount, and I think the answer to that is to rent. It needs to be at the minimum. Like you can't, like as a lender, you can't fill a fleet full of crew, right? Because then you couldn't transport crew as a borrower, for example, and the borrower wouldn't be able to put any of their crew in for transporting purposes either. And so I think that the simplest answer is just when you rent the fleet, it's going to be rented at minimum crew on the lender side, and then the lender's going to get that back when the rental's done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let me just expand on that a little bit. If you rent a fleet with 100 crew, that fleet will be returned to you with 100 crew.
I think Larry was asking though, like if he creates a fleet, right, with the minimum crew, and then removes that minimum crew, would the UI stop him from actually putting that fleet up for rent? Or would he still be able to put that fleet up for rent? And if he could put up that fleet for rent, if someone rented that, would they not would they get a fleet with no crew in it? Does that make more sense? Sorry.
It does make sense.
It's possible right now, and that's, I guess, it's a question for the community, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, it would be cheaper. Like you would expect that rental to be cheaper because there's no crew on it, because you got to bring your own crew, right? I think the UI could do a good deal of warning people, like, hey, zero crew, and then you go to rent that crew, and then have another warning, hey, this has zero crew, or something along those lines. I think it adds, a different layer. Like it will be definitely cheaper to rent the crewless fleet right? It also will allow lenders to maybe use those crew to craft while their fleet's getting rented out to people that know and expect their fleets to be empty. So then they fill it with the crew needed, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I think this comes
So-
down to the simplicity side of things, right? Like we could expose this feature of being able to put a fleet up for rent with no crew. Technically, there's nothing stopping us from that, but we would like to release this MVP feature as is, which with the safeguards we have in place. So if this becomes something that is like very requested and it makes a lot of sense, yes, this could be a future feature.
Mhm.
I think even just I don't remember who said it. Was it you, Anthony, or something I read in chat? But just like a warning message. This fleet rental does not come with crew or something like that would be stuff. I don't have an engineering mind like you guys do, so I don't know how hard that would be. So
Yeah, I think that would be a reasonable compromise, right? But then again, like obviously everything takes time, right?
yeah,
And so I think the biggest thing for this part is like the maximum. Like I do think renting fleets with full crew is probably not like it'd be unfortunate for the lender too. Like if they didn't realize they fully stocked that fleet with crew, now they're missing out on all those crew that could be crafting during that time, right? So I could see that as potential safety features. Like, okay, you can as a lender, you can only max it out to the minimum for operation, right? And I think that could be a good safeguard for people depending on how people use the system, right? I'm not really sure how people are going to use it, and we're going to find edge cases all the time. I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, guys, we're at the hour. I know there are still a lot of questions. We'll be replying throughout the whole week, of course, throughout the whole 2 weeks that we have until release. And we will also be creating more tutorial assets, articles, and everything. I hope this was helpful for everyone. I think it was. We shared some of the UI. We replied to a bunch of questions. And I know there's still a lot more, so don't worry. We can even do next week's brew about fleet rentals again if there are a lot of questions still. And Cain and Anthony are down to join. But happy that this feature is coming. Thank you, Cain and Anthony, for hopping with us for an hour to just reply to questions. Much appreciated. And guys, to everyone out there, expect more stuff from our end on tutorials and materials to be ready for the feature. But yeah, we'll probably do next week again about fleet rentals and keep replying to questions for sure. So
Thanks for having us, man, and thanks for holding down the fort, Santi and crew. Like you guys are doing God's work out here and the community. I mean, without you, we would be nothing. So thanks for holding strong and supporting us and building with us, Anthony and Sly and the whole team. We want to work with you guys. We want to enable you to do great things, to build great things, to have fun, to make money. So thanks for staying here and really appreciate it. And it makes coming to work and grinding the way that we do much easier when we go to all these events and we see you and we're able to see kind of the love and the gratitude. It's really amazing. Thank you guys.
great words. I can only echo that. Shout out to the community and again, Anthony, Cain, thank you so much for coming. Jose, Dominic, Bain.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see everyone again on Friday, guys, for the Mystery Week. That's going to be a spicy one. Be there. Be there.
Alright.
Get those golden tickets ready.
yeah. Much love, guys. Yeah, don't forget the golden tickets. Literally are worthless. They're worthless past this Friday. They're worthless past 10 a.m. Pacific time this Friday. Use them. Use them.
Yep.
Do it.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, guys.
everyone.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye, guys. Much love, guys. Have a good rest of your hump day.